Welcome to the Naughty by Novel podcast and another deep dive.
Ooh, naughty by novel. I like that.
So you're all clearly as obsessed with Rebecca Yarros' Fourth Wing in Iron Flame as we are,
Yeah.
because you all requested this deep dive before Onyx Storm even hit shelves.
Yeah, before Onyx Storm even hits the shelves.
Get ready, because we're going to dissect dragon battles, scorching betrayals, and that love triangle that has everyone buzzing.
Oh, we are going deep. We are talking hidden clues, character analysis, and fan theories that'll have you seeing this world in a whole new light by the time we're done.
Yeah.
You'll be able to write your own Onyx Storm sequel, I'm telling you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's just start right off the bat with that heart-stopping action that spans both books.
Mm-hmm.
The Battle of Breath. We're talking Warzone that just completely reshaped characters and relationships.
Oh, yeah.
And left us with a ton of unanswered questions.
A ton of unanswered questions. This is not just any battle. This is a crucible.
Oh.
You know, think about Violet's journey. Just think about it for a second. She goes from being a bookish scribe to a lightning-wielding dragon rider.
I know.
Forged in the fires of combat.
Forged in the fires of combat. Okay, so her relationship with Xaden.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about a whirlwind.
Yes.
Forced proximity, forbidden romance, and that bomb drop.
Yes.
That he's an intrinsic, the outlawed signet everyone's afraid of.
It's like the ultimate recipe for explosive tension.
Yes.
And I'm not just talking about the battlefield here.
Exactly. And you know what I think is so fascinating about that is how Yarros uses this high-stakes environment to peel back the layers of their personalities.
Oh, totally.
Violet's courage isn't just about wielding lightning. It's about defying everyone's expectations and fighting for what she believes in, even if it means going against her own mother.
That's right.
And Xaden's inner struggle is so compelling.
Oh, my God.
He's wrestling with his shadow self, literally,
Yes.
as he's trying to control his powers and protect Violet. And the fact that his love for her clashes with his intrinsic nature adds another layer of, like, whoa, to their dynamic.
Oh my gosh, it's like Shakespeare meets Game of Thrones.
Right.
With dragons.
With dragons, exactly.
Yeah, and the losses that they endure. I mean, losing Liam, her devoted bodyguard, and Lilith,
Oh, my God.
her manipulative mother, in such quick succession, forces Violet to confront the harsh realities of war and the sacrifices that it demands.
Yes, she really is forced to grow up.
She has no choice.
So where does that leave our characters at the end of Iron Flame, and what storm clouds are gathering as we head into Onyx Storm?
Okay, so Violet is walking a tightrope right now. She's grappling with grief. She's trying to understand her newly manifested second signet.
Right.
Oh, and let's not forget, she's now tied to a Venom Xaden.
Oh, my God.
Which puts her in a precarious position, both politically and emotionally.
That's so complicated. And Xaden, like, is he embracing his villainous side now that he's Venom?
He's not exactly embracing it. He's terrified of becoming a monster.
Okay.
And hurting Violet. And he's desperately searching for a cure, even though Jack Barlow, our resident Venom expert, who, by the way, made a shocking return after Violet supposedly killed him in Fourth Wing,
What?
claims a cure doesn't exist.
Hold on, he's back. That guy is like a cockroach, impossible to kill.
I know.
It makes you wonder how much we can trust anything he says.
Exactly. His reappearance throws everything into question. If he survived, who else might be lurking in the shadows playing a longer, more dangerous game?
Right. Speaking of shadows, we have those lingering mysteries surrounding Brennan Violet's brother, who came back from the dead.
Yes.
And Mara, her sister, with the power to manipulate wards.
Their roles in the coming conflict are still unclear, but their connection to the past, their unique abilities, and their complex relationship with Violet are sure to have major implications.
It's like everyone is carrying these hidden secrets and agendas.
Oh, yeah.
It makes you wonder who's truly on Violet's side.
Right.
And who's just waiting for the right moment to betray her.
Who's going to stab her in the back?
Literally.
Literally and figuratively.
Oh, my God. Which brings us to the overarching question. What are the burning mysteries that have the fandom buzzing, and what clues has Yarros cleverly embedded for us to obsess over?
Yes, let's get to the good stuff.
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with the Venom themselves. Like, who are they really? What drives them? And how deep does their infiltration into Navarre go?
Huh.
I mean, we know they're already inside the wards thanks to Jack Barlow's grand entrance.
Okay, so the Venom are bad news. We get it. But those Venom luring boxes, the ones attracting them, who's making those? Could it be Colonel Edas, Dane's father? Something about the guy just screams puppet master to me.
That's a popular theory, and not without merit. Atos has a knack for manipulating events from behind the scenes. Like, remember, he's the one who orchestrated Xaden's downfall in Fourth Wing,
Yeah,
leading to Liam's death.
right.
And his obsession with Andarna Violet's feather-tailed dragon raises all sorts of red flags. Speaking of feather-tails, what about Papa Soren Gale's research? He was digging into their history, as well as the Second Kellen Uprising, and it's clear someone wanted to bury those secrets.
It's like a breadcrumb trail leading us deeper into the mystery. Like, remember that missing book from the archives, the one that specifically mentioned feathertail powers, and how both Atos and Varish, the former vice commandant, were a little too interested in Andarna's lineage?
So we've got missing books, a suspicious colonel, and a dragon with a mysterious past. What does it all mean?
If we connect the dots, a fascinating pattern emerges. What if Soren Gale stumbled upon a truth about feathertails, something that could turn the tide of the war? Maybe their connection to the wards is more significant than anyone realizes.
And Andarna waiting centuries for Violet. That's not just some random dragon rider bond.
No.
It feels almost prophetic, like they're destined to play a role in this ancient conflict.
Totally. Which leads us to the seventh dragon den in Darna's home. Why was it left out of the original accounts of the ward's creation? What makes it so special? I have a feeling Soren Gale's research holds the answers. And those answers could be explosive.
But if his research is so crucial, where is it Violet mentioned? Knowing where he kept his notes somewhere near Bagieth. Those notes are practically screaming to be found.
I know. And I have a feeling their discovery will rock Navarre to its core. What if they reveal a hidden history, a truth about the origins of the wards, or even the Venin themselves that changes everything?
It's like those notes are a ticking time bomb. But let's shift gears and talk about the one mystery that has everyone losing their minds. Violet's second signet. The fandom is overflowing with theories, but what clues can we actually glean from the text?
Okay, so we know signets manifest based on a writer's core identity and needs, and Violet is a truth seeker, someone who craves knowledge and transparency. Remember that line she has, the mind of a scribe and the heart of a writer. It's a key insight into her nature.
So what are the leading theories? Is she a mind reader, a truth detector, or something even wilder?
Okay, so the intensifier signet, which amplifies senses and allows access to others' minds, is a popular one. It would certainly explain that scene in Iron Flame where Violet seems to accidentally read Xaden's thoughts.
You know, that scene always struck me as more than just an accident. Remember how Xaden reacted? It was like he was caught off guard as if he wasn't expecting her to hear him.
That's a great observation. What if Xaden, as an intrinsic, can also project his thoughts intentionally or not? It would add another layer of complexity to their connection, especially now that he's Venin.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown. So we have mind reading, thought projection. What other possibilities are out there?
Some fans believe Violet might be a truthsayer, someone who instinctively knows when someone is lying. It aligns with her need for clarity and her desire to expose hidden truths. Imagine her being able to cut through all the deception and manipulation that's running rampant in Navarre.
That would be a game changer. She could expose the venom hiding within the kingdom, root out corruption within the Empyrean, and maybe even figure out what Dane is really up to.
Speaking of Dane, I'm still not convinced we can trust him, remember? His dragon cath has that same bad breath as the Venin-connected dragons, and those mysterious tattoos he got from Jack Barlow during the battle. Something's not right there.
Okay, maybe Dane is a bad example, but imagine Violet using this truth-seeking ability to understand Xaden, to see the man beneath the venom. It could be their saving grace, the bridge that connects them, even when everything else seems to be pulling them apart.
That's a beautiful thought, and it speaks to the power of truth and understanding and overcoming seemingly insurmountable obstacles. But I wonder, what if her second signet is something even more unexpected? What if it's not about simply detecting truth, but manipulating it?
Whoa, hold on. Are you suggesting she could alter reality, bend the truth to her will? That's some serious power.
It would certainly shake things up, and knowing Rebecca Yarros, she loves a good plot twist. What if Violet's signet isn't just a tool for good, but a weapon that can be used for both light and darkness? The moral implications would be fascinating to explore.
That's a great point. And it would make her even more dangerous in the eyes of the Empyrean. Imagine the fear, the distrust, if they discovered she could manipulate truth itself.
It could lead to a whole new level of political intrigue and power struggles, and it would force Violet to confront the ethical implications of her powers, to decide what lines she's willing to cross in the fight against the Venin.
This is getting intense. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. But before we get too lost in the possibilities, let's shift our focus to Xaden. His transformation into a Venin is a game changer, and I have a feeling it's going to be a wild ride.
Oh, absolutely. Remember, he believes he killed the Venin general during the Battle of Brigath,
Right.
but we never saw the body.
Oh.
And those Venin are notoriously hard to kill.
You're right, and that line about commanding the sky, It's clearly referencing Violet.
Yes.
But what if the general's after her, and Xaden is just the bait?
It's a chilling thought, but entirely plausible. And now that Xaden is Venin, his powers are amplified. He could be the only one who can truly challenge the general, especially with his enhanced shadow wielding and potential boost to his intrinsic abilities.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. What if Xaden uses his Venin powers to infiltrate their ranks? He could become a double agent working from the inside to bring them down.
It's a risky gambit, but it could be their only hope. He could gather intel, sabotage their plans, and maybe even find a way to cure himself and other Venin.
Talk about a redemption arc, but it's also a recipe for heartbreak. Imagine the trust, issues the fear, if Violet finds out he's working with the enemy, even if it's for the greater good.
And what if his Venin nature starts to corrupt him? What if the darkness begins to win, making him more ruthless, more like the monster he fears becoming? That's a terrifying thought.
Rebecca Yarros knows how to twist the knife. But, this whole Venin situation raises a bigger question. Can they be redeemed, or are they inherently evil beyond the reach of salvation?
It's a question that goes to the heart of this story. Are we defined by our nature or by our choices? Can someone who has embraced darkness find their way back to the light? These are the moral dilemmas that make this series so thought-provoking.
And the stakes couldn't be higher. The fate of Navarre, the future of Dragon Riders, and the survival of Violet and Xaden's love all hinge on finding a way to bridge this seemingly unbridgeable chasm.
Which brings us back to those mysterious survivors of the Battle of Brigieth. Each of them is a piece of this puzzle, and their actions could tip the scales one way or the other. Where should we begin?
Let's start with Violet's squadron,
Mm.
the Iron Squad. They've been through hell and back together, but their bonds have been tested.
Take Sawyer, for instance. He lost a leg in a wyvern attack, a brutal reminder of the cost of war.
Poor Sawyer. But hey, maybe he'll get a cool metal leg he can control with his metal-wielding signet. I'm picturing him kicking ass with a prosthetic limb that's both functional and fashionable.
Now that would be awesome. It would play into the idea that dragons and riders adapt to each other's needs, just like Terran Xaden's dragon was totally fine with Violet riding in his saddle. It challenges the rigid traditions of the Dragon Rider world and hints at a more flexible, inclusive future.
Fingers crossed for a badass metal leg. But let's talk about Sloane. She's carrying a heavy burden, both emotionally and literally.
Her siphon signet, which allows her to draw energy from other sources, forced her to make a horrific choice during the battle. She had to imbue the Brigieth Ward Stone with the life force of Lilith and her dragon. Talk about a moral dilemma.
It's especially poignant considering Lilith was the one who ordered the execution of Sloane's family, and she's still carrying around Liam's letters, the ones revealing details about his relationship with Violet. That's a lot of weight for one person to bear.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder how she'll cope with this trauma and what role those letters will play in this story. Will she use them to manipulate Violet, to expose a truth that could hurt her? Or will she find a way to honor Lima's memory by protecting the woman he loved?
So many possibilities. Okay, enough angst. For now, let's talk about Garrick Zadie's best friend and fellow dragon rider. He and his dragon crew are highly sensitive to runes, which suggests his signet might be related to that. And with runes playing such a crucial role in war manipulation, that could be huge.
It could be a game changer. What if Garrick holds the key to restoring the wards or even creating new ones? He could be the wild card in this whole conflict, the one who tips the scales in Navarre's favor.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Okay, let's not forget about the Sorengale siblings, those walking, talking enigmas. We've got Brennan, resurrected with a mysterious rune-shaped scar on his palm, and Mara, who can create wards outside the existing ones. What are they hiding, and how will their abilities impact the fight against Ovinin?
It's clear they both have a role to play, but what that role is remains shrouded in mystery. Are they pawns in a larger game? Do they have their own agendas? And how will their connection to Lith's research on the Venin affect the outcome of this war?
We know they both possess unique and potentially game-changing abilities. Brennan's resurrection alone suggests a power beyond our current understanding, and Mare's ward manipulation skills could be the key to strengthening Navarre's defenses. But are they allies or threats? That's the real question.
And their relationship with Violet is another layer of intrigue. Will they support her, or will their past conflicts and differing loyalties drive them apart?
Family drama is always a good time. But speaking of family, we can't forget about Xaden's mother. Her absence looms large in his life, and we're all dying to know more about her.
Who is she? Why did she leave? And where has she been all these years? These are the questions that keep the fandom buzzing. And with Rebecca Yarros hinting that we'll learn more about her in the upcoming books, the anticipation is killing us.
Okay, listener time for some speculation. What are your theories about Xaden's mother? Is she a Venin, a powerful sorceress? A long-lost princess? Let us know.
And while we're on the topic of missing persons, let's not forget about King Talon's youngest son, Eric Greycastle, who we now know is the new dragon rider Kamari.
The dramatic irony is delicious. His own father has no idea. He's a rider, and he's training alongside the very people the king is wary of. The fallout when the truth comes out is going to be epic.
Talk about a powder keg. It's a recipe for royal drama and political upheaval. And with the king already struggling to deal with the Venom threat, this revelation could fracture the kingdom even further.
Okay, speaking of fractured kingdoms, let's talk about the political landscape in Navarre.
Hmm.
It's a mess, to put it mildly. The Aura Wards are weakening, dragon bonding rates are declining, and the Empyrean is hopelessly divided on how to handle the Venom. It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck.
And let's not forget the uneasy alliance with the Griffin Flyers from Porfmal. They swooped in at the end of Iron Flame to help fight the Venom. But can they truly trust each other?
It's a fragile piece held together by a common enemy, but what happens when that enemy is defeated or if tensions escalate, it could easily turn into a war on two fronts.
And with the Venom already inside the wards, Navarre is facing its greatest challenge. Yet the question is, can they overcome their internal divisions and find a way to unite against this common threat?
It's a question that hangs heavy over everything, but before we wrap things up, we need to address the elephant in the room, who is the Venin working within Navarre. We know they're there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike.
Jack Barlow made that chillingly clear, but who are they and what's their endgame?
Let's put on our detective hats and examine the suspects. First up, Colonel Edeltos. He's been shady from the start, manipulating events and playing both sides.
He's certainly a prime candidate, but is he actually a Venin or just working with them? Remember, he doesn't have those telltale red eyes or veins.
Maybe he's an initiate at the lowest level of Venin, or perhaps he thinks he's in control, but the Venin are playing him like a fiddle.
It's possible he's ambitious and ruthless, which makes him susceptible to manipulation. And his obsession with Andarna suggests he's after something specific, something that aligns with the Venin's goals.
Let's not forget his connection to the wards. Dane mentioned that Atos used to take him to see the Brigath Wardstone as a kid. That's not just father-son bonding. It's like he was studying them, learning their weaknesses.
It's incredibly suspicious, but what if he's not the only one? What if there's a whole network of Venin collaborators within Navarre, people in positions of power who are undermining the kingdom from within?
That's a terrifying thought. It would explain how the Venin have managed to stay one step ahead to anticipate Navarre's every move.
And it would make the task of defeating them that much more daunting. But this is where you, dear listener, come in. What are your theories? Who do you think is the Venin hiding within Navarre?
Because let's be honest, Rebecca Yaros is a master of misdirection. She loves to keep us guessing, and I'm sure she has some major twists and surprises up her sleeve for Onyx Storm.
I can't wait to see what she throws at us. But for now, we need to take a breather and gather our thoughts. We've covered a lot of ground, and there's still so much to discuss.
We're back and ready to navigate this final stretch of our deep dive.
Ooh, the final stretch.
I know we've unearthed a treasure trove of clues, debated theories, and maybe even sparked a few conspiracies of our own.
That we have.
Speaking of wanting more, let's talk about Onyx Storm. What hints has Yaros dropped, and what can we reasonably expect from this next installment?
Well, based on the ending of Iron Flame, it's safe to say that Violet and Xaden's relationship is going to be front and center. I mean, their love is facing the ultimate test now that he's Venin. Will their bond be strong enough to overcome this seemingly insurmountable obstacle?
Right, and what about the war against the Venin? Like, it feels like things are about to escalate dramatically,
Yeah.
especially with the wards failing and the possibility of a traitor lurking within Navarre.
I think we can expect some epic battles, daring rescues, and heartbreaking betrayals. I mean, Yaris has proven she's not afraid to kill off beloved characters, so no one is safe.
And Violet's second signet. I'm still holding out hope for something truly mind-blowing. Something that just defies expectations and reshapes the power dynamics of this world.
Totally. And, I'm curious to see how Andarna and her Feathertail lineage will factor into the story, her connection to the past, her unique abilities, and her unwavering loyalty to Violet could be the key to defeating the Venom.
And let's not forget about Papa Sorengale's research. Will Violet find those elusive notes, and what secrets will they reveal? My gut tells me they hold the answers to some of the biggest mysteries plaguing Navarre.
Oh, I agree. Those notes are like a ticking time bomb, just waiting to detonate and just reshape our understanding of this world.
Okay, But we still need to solve the mystery of the Venom collaborator. Is it Colonel Atos, a rogue scribe, someone we haven't even considered yet?
See, this is where Rebecca Yarros truly shines. She's a master of weaving these intricate plots and creating these characters that are both relatable and unpredictable.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the traitor turns out to be someone we least expect, someone we've come to trust and rely on.
Oh, the betrayal.
Yeah.
It's giving me chills just thinking about it.
I know, and the implications would be huge. I mean, it would mean that the Venom have infiltrated the very heart of Navarre, that nowhere is safe, and that no one can be trusted.
Talk about a recipe for paranoia and chaos. It would definitely raise the stakes and make the fight against the Venom even more personal.
But amidst all the darkness and uncertainty, I think there's also room for hope. You know, we've seen glimpses of it in Violet's unwavering determination, in Xaden's desperate search for a cure, and in the unexpected alliances that have formed in the face of adversity.
That's a great point. Even in the darkest of times, there's always the potential for light to shine through. And I think that's ultimately what makes this series so captivating. It's a story about love, loss, betrayal, and hope, all woven together into a tapestry that's both beautiful and terrifying.
And as we eagerly await the release of Onyx Storm, I think it's important to remember that the answers we seek may not be as straightforward as we think. Yarros is a master of subverting expectations and challenging our assumptions.
So listener, be prepared for a wild ride. Brace yourself for shocking revelations, heartbreaking twists, and epic battles that will determine the fate of Navarre.
And most importantly, keep those theories coming. We're all in this together, trying to unravel the mysteries of this incredible world.
So until Onyx Storm graces our eager hands, keep those wings sharp, those minds engaged, and remember, dear listener, the truth is out there waiting to be discovered.
And sometimes the truth is even more thrilling than fiction.